evening, guys. This is Brian, Cliffside Outfitters. Glad to have you back with us. We're out here working on the boat, and it's coming along. I'm not going to give anything away in this particular video on the progress. I've got a series of videos that's coming out, and I want you to watch all those so that you see how that we went from what we had, and that some of those videos are already out, back to the restoration on this boat. So, on another subject altogether, as we were working on the boat, I was going to make some improvements, and one of the improvements that I was going to do was I was going to improve my live well system. And I've got, so if you know anything about boats, on the back of the boat there's a through hole fitting, that lets water in from the back of the boat. There's a hose that runs up to the live well, and then there's a fitting in the live well, so the water can exchange from the lake to the live well through that hose, keeping any water out of the boat. When you get in the lake, the live well fills up. When you pull out, the live well empties. With that being said, in most boats, mine included, there's a gate valve that my particular one is underneath the gas tank. Real easy to get to when you got the gas tank out. Almost impossible to get to when the gas tank's in the boat. And it's not terrible to pull the gas tank if you need to do anything in there, but it is a chore. So, but we've got a gate valve. My whole system that was original from the factory in this boat was a 3/4 system. I had a 3/4 inlet on the transom. I had a 3/4 inlet on the live well, and the gate valve was 3/4. Everything was uniform, and over the years it worked fine, with the exception of it didn't fill up fast and it didn't drain fast. So since I'm having to redo some of this stuff, I'm redoing all the through hole fittings and changing a lot of the components that's in the boat that just need to be replaced to prevent maintenance in the future. I decided that I was going to increase that, and the next size up that I was able to find in the marine industry is 1 1/8" hose, 1 1/8" through hole fitting, and so the whole system would be 1 1/8", and I thought, well, that's going to make it drain faster. That's going to make it fill up quicker in the scenario that I'm catching fish, and I've caught my first fish, went to put it in live well, there's no water in there, I've got it closed off, I open it up, water comes in pretty quick, you know, fish ain't in there beating and flopping around while it's waiting to fill up. So we're going to 1 1/8". So I ordered my stainless through hole fitting. It's below the water line, so I wanted the strength stainless steel. And I ordered my drain that goes in the live well, 1 1/8". And I've got my hose, 1 1/8". So now the only thing that I've got to find is 1 1/8" gate valve. It's not truly a ball valve, it's more of a gate valve, but we need to put an 1 1/8" valve in there. Now naturally the hose is 1 1/8", the opening in the valve is not going to be quite 1 1/8", same as with the through hole fitting and the fitting that went in the live well. So I went on Amazon, and me not being as computer savvy as some, I typed in 1 1/8" valve, live well valve, and picture popped up, red valve. I hit get it, and here it come. Bam, they drop it at the front door, and I've got this one. Now, I guess somebody made a typo, but this is the same valve that I had in the boat, in much better condition. So this in itself was an improvement, but it didn't get me where I was wanting to go. And as you can see, that they call that 3/4. That's probably a 1/2 inch opening inside that valve. And it works great. The one that I had in here from the same manufacturer, it lasted 28 years so far. I actually broke it taking it out, and that was, I could have probably preserved it if I wasn't just being careless. But at any rate, so we've got this one. That's not going to do. So I got back on the computer and I started digging. Ironically, I could not find a whole lot of manufacturers that made these valves. There's a couple manufacturers. The most predominant one manufactured the original valve for this boat and the one that I'd picked up so far, excuse me. So I couldn't find the 1/8" valve that I'd seen in advertisements actually on Amazon. So I ended up going directly to the company, and of course on their website, there it is, 1/8" gate valve, live well valve, whatever you want to call it. There it is, and consequently not much more expensive than the 3/4. So I'm hitting a button, it's on the way. So I come in and package is on the counter. UPS done dropped it off. I'm excited, we're gonna go to work. So I get the valve out and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, yeah, it is a substantially bigger valve. That's really gonna work. And just out of curiosity, you know, I done it like that right there. And you can probably see why I was surprised. This is not an 1/8" valve. It's got 1/8" takeoffs on both ends. The valve itself is exactly the same size as this other valve. Let me open this up where you can see through them both. I'm messing with them. Now, you look at that. Side by side. And I know it's sort of hard to get both of them right there, but side by side, the aperture or opening in both these valves is identical. Meaning that this is a 3/4 valve with fired fittings on the end. And this is a 3/4 valve with 3/4 hose. I'm in construction. I've been around a lot of plumbers. I've done a little plumbing. I'm not a plumber. It's not what I do for a living. But I've done enough plumbing to know that anytime I go to a supplier and get a ball valve, if it's a 3/4 and or a 1/8" or a 2" the inside diameter of the valve assembly itself is going to be different. It really don't make no difference in the flow rate if the valve is the same size. Being perplexed, I went ahead and called the manufacturer, customer service, and I got Alex on the phone, and I began to explain to Alex why I was a bit confused, and I wanted to know if the company actually made an 1/8" valve. And to my surprise, Alex informed me this, yep, that's an 1/8" valve right there. And I was like, no. I didn't know where he was located in the facility. So I began to explain to him that maybe I'm incorrect, but from my understanding, the opening in the valve is the same size as the 3/4. And he began to tell me, oh no, the opening in the valve is the 1/8". It's got an 1/8 spur fitting on it or whatever, and it's an 1/8". I said, no, the one I got, the opening that's in the center of it is about a 1/2 inch. which would what you'd expect from a 3/4 valve. And he said, "You got the wrong one." And I said, "No, I don't think I do." And he said, "Yeah, you've got the red one. You need the blue one." And I said, "Well, I've got the blue one, and I've got the red one." And I give him the model number at MV5AFN01. He said, "Yeah, you got the blue one. That's an 1 1/8" valve." And I said, "Alex, I don't believe it is." So I went to explain to him how the hole in the center of the valve is the restriction in the line that limits the amount of flow rate that's going to pass through the system. And he went to explain to me how he had been trained, and this bigger opening here, or bigger stem, nipple, whatever you want to call it, would actually increase the flow rate. That would really increase flow rate. Of course, y'all can tell I'm being skeptical here, because just as a layman, I know that if I take a bucket and I put a 2-inch collar on it and a 4-inch collar on it and seal it really well, and then I take a 1/2-inch drill bit and drill a hole in the center of both of them and fill the bucket up, that the same amount of water is going to drip out of both of the collars, because, well, the outlet's the same size. So really, he told me I could send it back if I wasn't satisfied with it. Since I've changed everything over to 1 1/8, I'm probably going to have to live with this thing unless you guys can put in the comments below where I can get a marine 2-way valve that's operated by cable from a remote location in the boat, just like this, but that's got a true 1 1/8 opening where we can actually increase the rate of emptying and filling up on the live well. But what I was trying to say is, you know, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use it for now, and hopefully one of you guys can help me out there. But the reason I'm doing the video is I didn't want y'all to be, I'm going to call it bamboozled. This valve body, these suckers are the same size. See the circular part here? That's the same size. The little flappers inside that close it, it's the same size. The only thing difference about this is they put a larger stem on it, and they've rebranded this 3/4 valve as an 1 1/8 valve. Now, if you have got a true 1 1/8 system in your boat, and you put that valve in, now you've got a 3/4 inch system. Y'all guys correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to let you know that in case you're changing those out, you'll know what you're dealing with. Not that they're bad. I mean, both those are good valves. They're just the same size. So anyway, so now you know. Until next time, this is Brian, Cliffside Outfitters. Y'all have a good day.